Hey, buddy.
Hello. Oh, there you are. What's that behind you?
Uh,
That's your that me or that's your motorcycle behind me, obviously.
With my helmet.
Yeah.
Wow. You're really crazy.
Yes.
yes,
Yes, we've established that.
that
For
is quite evident in the documentary. So,
sure.
uh,
So what did you, Mark,
yes, sir.
what did you think of this documentary?
Oh, I loved it. Being a fan of the movie for a long time, it was fun seeing other folks who actually share my love for Megaforce. so,
Good.
uh, very much enjoyed it. So, and I thank both you and Bob for taking time out of busy schedule to talk to me about your documentary.
Well,
Um,
you're welcome. I'm doing it for you, Mark. Bob, I was
I
over
know.
him years ago.
Yeah, years ago. Yeah, all my favors, my dance card is full when it comes to leaning on Barry. So
you checked all the boxes, then I imagine,
Yeah.
huh?
most of them, yeah. I keep calling though, but he
And I
keeps
keep
answering.
responding, God damn it. What
I
is my
know.
problem?
I know. That's the thing. You just have to delete my number.
Oh, I'll block it. Yeah, I'll block your
It's
number.
Of course, you'll have to call me to ask me how to
to
delete my
block it.
number from
Yeah.
your phone. So,
That's right. That's right. That's true.
Awesome.
No,
yeah. So Mark, we're chatting about the hope and dream is for the film to follow Barry around at these Comic Con conventions because that's where our audience is, and that's
Sure.
where fans of anything is, and ultimately, I think the film is about mostly being a fan of Barry Bostwick, clearly, but just a fan of anything that nobody else understands
yeah.
is the
Well,
underpinnings of the film,
I
but
mean,
mostly Barry.
how could you not be a fan of Barry Bostwick? I mean, he taught Helen Keller how to fight the Night Wolves, which I loved. He helped fight the Scorpion King. He helped fight the werewolf Axis of Evil as FDR. So,
You picked three of my favorite films. I think if you probably add all of the amount of days that I spent making those films, it would be 11 and a half.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
well,
At least that was a paying gig, not like this one, which was 6 years for free. So
Wait a minute. So are you saying that I got paid for those? So little. FDR American Badass was done because it made me laugh. What was the other one?
the
Oh,
Scorpion
Keller
King.
versus Night Wolves.
Yes, yes.
Uh, because he was trying to create um, a sort of repertory company of actors because you'll see the same actors in both of those things, you know.
Right.
And who is it? What's his name? I forget his name. Guy who
Oh,
wrote it.
the director of them? I forgot it as well, actually. I just remember you being in them and Lynn Shay being in both. So,
Yeah, yes, Lynn. Yes, well, because we love the absurd, which gets us right back to Megaforce.
yeah, which gets you right to Megaforce, the absurd. Though when I saw it when I was younger, I did not think of it as absurd. I adored this film quite a bit.
Yeah,
I fell in love with it, the energy, and then Bob making this documentary with you of making Megaforce, watching it just took me right back to being a kid again, watching the clips and stuff, and for Bob, one of the questions I love, and was it the biggest surprise or was it expected? It seemed like everybody was asking, why Megaforce?
yeah, well, it was definitely like this kind of dirty little secret when I was calling people, and yeah, and every one of them was like, well, I directed Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or I edited The Wild Bunch, and you want to talk about Megaforce, including Barry too. When I knew I kind of had the power to warm the hearts of people towards Megaforce, it was literally the first time I met Barry Bostwick, which was many moons ago, and he barely remembered the movie. Correct me if I'm wrong, Barry. I'm sure you will. But through us doing a DVD commentary of the original Megaforce, which he hadn't seen in years, obviously. About halfway through it, I could tell I was kind of getting through to him why it was important, maybe not to him, but to me and fans like me. And by the end, he was wearing the blue headband and quoting lines and stuff. I was like, okay, well, if I can win this guy over, like maybe I should take the mission on the road and just see if I can turn this horse around 40 years later. So.
But when we first met, when you stalked me in Beverly Hills or wherever the hell I was, did you know you were going to make this movie?
No, at the time, if you remember, I was going to make a Megaforce coffee table book with all the collectibles. Remember, we did all that book stuff.
Oh, yes. And you still have all of my paraphernalia from it. Will I ever get it back? My original pictures and this and that and my contract and all that. Will you ever give it back to me?
I thought you gave it to me.
I did not give it to you. My kids, my son would be so upset with you. Yeah.
No, it's all in one pile that says bring back to Barry. So
that says don't give it back to Barry. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I told my kids, be sure when Barry comes to my funeral to hide this box.
Oh, that's funny. Sure.
Barry will find it though. I'm sure you're a resourceful guy, right, Barry?
Well, the crazy thing was,
I'll die first, so therefore everything's up in the air. Of what's going to happen to all this stuff? I mean, what's going to happen to all the vehicles that you've made and displayed, Bob? Let's just have a little discussion about you dying tomorrow.
Great. I'm sure that'll push the numbers of this podcast.
Yeah, but then what do you do? What do you do with all this stuff that you've made and created?
It's a great question. The vehicles, it's pretty easy because there's a lot of car museums around that have Hollywood cars in them and stuff like that. So like basically after I'm done using them for marketing and having them as my backdrops and stuff, I kind of just want to store them at a car museum where other people can see them and I don't have to dust them.
Yeah. I got you.
That dusting is a big deal for sure.
Well, and the rest of my like massive Megaforce collection, I could probably get like $26 on eBay for it. So I'll probably go that route for the rest.
Yeah,
I think you'd get more because one of the things that I loved in the documentary was finding the fans. Barry, for you, was that a surprise of finding how many people were actually still following and actively celebrating Megaforce?
All 6 of them.
All 6 of them that are in the feature film.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, all those guys, they're wonderful guys. Was there any? There was no women who were original fans, part of the fan club. Was there?
Haven't found one yet.
Yeah. Oh my God! But when I do these conventions, there's always a number of women who come up to me and buy a picture from Megaforce because it affected them the same way as the young guys did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your outfit affected them at least.
Well, that's true.
The
it's the black and white of my whatever.
The steely blue eyes and the headband.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. The Barry Gibb. I have a very Barry Gibb look for that, which I continue to have, by the way. I am not going to change my mid 80s or early 80s persona.
No, it's working.
What is your Bob? What is your most precious, thing from this paraphernalia besides the cars and and the motorcycles and the obvious
Yeah,
helmet. Hmm?
yeah. Well, to me, like, uh, and apparently I have to give it back, but it's your Megaforce crew jacket that you loaned me,
Oh.
that black one
Mhm.
that says Ace Hunter in the in the little pocket, like that, because that means something about like our friendship, and also it's a Megaforce
Crew
thing.
jacket. Yeah. It kind of is
Yeah,
dual
yeah. So
dual purpose.
that's
But I
really
didn't give it to
special.
you. I didn't give it to you, did I?
No, no,
Oh,
because you want your son to have it. So
thank
even though,
God.
has your son even seen Megaforce yet?
What?
Have you showed your son Megaforce? Does he even care?
Hmm. Sure, sure. He cares. I don't think I've showed him the. He was just here. We just put him on a plane for Germany 2 days ago.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
He was here for a week and a half, and no, I didn't show it to him. I probably should have, because he always mentions the fact that somebody took a picture with him in front of one of the mega destroyers at
The
that.
one in Newport. I remember you sending me that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he feels like he's a real part of this, just like your son does, who has got such a big part in the in this documentary, who's which I think is very moving about this, is that like son like father like son. I mean,
A
your
little
son
bit. Yeah.
actually likes his father.
That's the word on the street. Yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
that
Well,
seems to happen
well,
with our generation, actually, Bob, because I'm pretty much the same age as you. My kids actually seem to like me some reason too, so
excellent.
I'm not
You're
sure
doing
why.
something right. You're doing something. Well,
So,
you share what you love with your kids, and you let them pick, and
mhm.
then you just go down that road, I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one of the things in this documentary, and I don't want to spoil too much because there was so much great stuff, but just it was one of those things that surprised me of the vehicles that you were actually able to find
Yeah,
still
yeah, there's some
intact.
there's some good adventures there for sure.
and,
Yeah, yeah,
and some
hopefully
scary
really
places
good.
too. Some scary
Yeah.
places too. Which I felt concerned for you and for Barry. What you guys? There's one particular location in the documentary
The
that I
abandoned
was like,
building, yeah.
yes,
We're in the attic.
yeah,
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
fabulous. That guy was great.
was he?
yeah.
Oh my God, he had more crap up there, and you never included in the film the interview that we did there, did you, Bob? We were sitting
No, just
in
no,
that.
just between you and him. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it was that fascinating. I love guys like that because they're very similar to you. But he was he was a collector of everything,
Everything. Yeah.
everything, and 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 he knew where everything was.
Hmm.
And he knew what it all was still. Yeah, yeah, it was crazy. Like that day was so fun because uh again, that guy was in California, and I just begged Barry to show up, and I said, "Well, this guy's a little eccentric," and just kind of left it at that. And I had never been in that abandoned building either, and
Hmm.
there were several points in the movie where it's just like, "Oh my god, I'm bringing Barry Bostwick to this place where he's going to fall through the floor or get norovirus or something."
But
Yeah.
is there any vehicle or anything that you on your wish list for from left from this movie, Bob?
Well, the flying motorcycle, the one with the wings.
Does
Mm.
that exist?
I don't know. I don't know. That one's a true mystery. The interesting thing with that one, well, interesting to some, probably not you, Barry, but that was the only motorcycle that went to the special effects stage where you were doing all the introvision stuff.
Yeah.
So that motorcycle didn't kind of travel with the collection of vehicles that our friend John got. So yeah, it could be in the back of a warehouse where they shot that stuff still. Like, or maybe the studio broke it down, or yeah, that'd be one to find for sure.
The
Because
actual
those scenes
flying,
actually
yeah.
worked. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know how they worked, but yeah, I'd love to find that. And I don't know if you've seen online, a bunch of guys are starting to look for the red and white Ford Bronco that Dallas drives at the beginning.
Oh no,
The
really?
Oh. That's great. But
Yeah.
that's what's wonderful about this movie, and that's what I love about nowadays. These movies are getting either rediscovered, or you're just finding fans. I mean, Barry, your Ace Hunter is still to this date, I think, one of the most positive heroes I've seen portrayed on screen, to where whatever the situation, he seemed to find the light in it. I mean, was that your approach to this guy, or how did you approach Ace Hunter?
It's all about the hair.
The hair, yeah, that
Yeah,
was great hair. It
yeah.
was.
No, it was. I was directed poorly um, by Hal. I think he's directed me. I don't really remember him ever saying anything to me
Mhm.
in terms of character building or finding who it was. Basically, he was just an over-the-top GI Joe who was, um, I guess, liked women. I mean, but that
Yeah.
alone is
Yeah.
that meme alone was worth it all. I don't know where that came from. Bob, did I make that up?
I'm gonna go with yes on that.
All right.
I mean, the way Hal Needham's approach to that movie was, which is why when we were 10 and 11, we liked it so much, right? Like, it wasn't a kissing movie,
No.
No.
right? And so the thumb kiss thing was a way to, in the parachuting scene, right? The parachuting scene was their Barry and Persis Kambata's sex scene, and then all the kissing was just the
The
thumb
thumb.
kiss.
Yeah.
But Barry, in your original notes that you gave me, so like every time I go and hang out with Barry, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I just found this," and it's like, you just found 300 behind the scenes photos from Megaforce that you didn't tell me about 3 months ago when we were making this movie. And so one of the last piles he gave me was just this big stack. It had his contracts in it and everything, but it also had, I don't know, 30 or 40 pages of handwritten notes and like before production. And Barry just has questions and answers. Like, you did build your character. I mean, he's got a rich background. You know exactly where he came from. You knew where his parents were. You knew what his real name is, right? Because Ace Hunter's his Megaforce name.
That's
Yeah.
how I approach, but that's how I approach back then. Every character. That was my training. As you had to create a backstory, and
And you just threw it all out after that because you realized nobody cared.
no, least of all me at that point. I just wanted to get on a motorcycle and drive across the desert, and be around all of those huge explosions and this and that. I was that kind of stuff because I was basically coming from the stage. You just none of that stuff existed in my life. The larger than life and real war machinery.
Well, and then you're looking at the 80s, so I mean, all of it's practical. I mean, you look at it now, how much of that would have been CGI, but you have real tanks and real explosions and motorcycles and everything. And you look back at that. One of the things that surprised me with the documentary was there were some things that I thought were just miniatures that when you were doing interviews with the stunt people, I realized, oh, that wasn't a miniature. They blew up a factory.
Yeah. And
actual.
the guys really jumped over tanks with their motorcycles,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
and yeah, no, those guys, they were the best of the best at the time.
Hmm.
totally. Yeah, and these motorcycles are probably the worst vehicle ever to try to drive. They are so dangerous, so dangerous.
How do you handle something like that, Barry, when you're on a film like that and you're like, you get on this motorcycle and you look at it and go, really? Because it doesn't exactly look that safe.
It looked safe to me because it was a motorcycle. You
Well,
know,
that's true.
if it started and stopped, I'm on it.
Hmm.
That's all. You know, there was, I mean, I think I probably did a whole bunch of really stupid, dangerous things in this. And
You really did.
there was nobody there to protect me.
Hmm.
But I got out alive, as is most people did. Anybody die on this set, Bob?
One guy died offset over the weekend, but
Oh,
nobody died
really?
during the
Oh.
production. Yeah.
What from what?
He was from the Army National Guard, right? So they were all held up with their tanks at the base, and apparently the only day the first AD wasn't there, some guys were screwing around with the tank, and the way the tanks, like the driver's head sticks up, but he has to duck
Oh
when the
no.
turret comes around, and there was
Oh.
some miscommunication.
Eee.
And
Wait, did the guy lose his head?
it got smushed.
Oh, gee. How come I haven't heard about it? But this isn't in the documentary, is it?
No. Well, that was a on upon reflection, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell that story. Uh, um, and because it was the National Guard, right?
Oh,
Like, I think it's kind of a military
Hmm.
secret. Like who knows if they were even allowed to be out there on Megaforce, right? It was it was
oh,
it was such a yeah. Originally they wanted the Army to do it, but the Army said that the prototype vehicles were too similar to what they were already developing, and they declined to help with Megaforce.
hmm.
So then the production team, through the mayor of Las Vegas, like, got to borrow the National Guard or something. And of course, all those boys out there were just like, "Oh my God, we actually get to shoot stuff, right?"
Yeah.
Um,
As
yeah,
opposed
and
to civilians on the streets of DC.
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Indeed.
one of the things I think that I loved about your the film too is you mentioned it, Barry. This is a year before the animated GI Joe. And I will say to this day that Megaforce, your film Megaforce, is still the closest thing we'll ever get to an actual accurate live action GI Joe film. The ones that came out later were not it, but Ace Hunter is literally Duke. You are Duke, and that is GI Joe. And I've always loved that about Megaforce is that I'm like,
Yeah.
that's your live action GI Joe.
Yeah. Who's Duke?
Duke
He's
is
the
the leader
leader of
of
GI
GI
Joe.
Joe.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah, and he doesn't have the cool hair like Ace Hunter though, or a headband. So
No
uh,
headband.
no headband
Yeah,
either.
it's interesting. So, right, like Mattel really was spearheading uh Megaforce
Hmm.
with the production company, and I've got a bunch of concept art of what they were going to do for the vehicles, right?
Right.
Because Mattel was actually making all these drawings. So one of the original drawings of the Tatcom is actually a GI Joe toy now, right? Because they didn't pick it for the film,
Right.
so it was some artist designer's toy or portfolio, and he just
Mhm.
brought it back, and that's it. And it's the six wheeler, and it has kind of like a Space 99 Eagle One nose on it. Kind of
Yeah.
looks like a big ant. But that's a real toy from GI Joe that was originally designed for Megaforce.
Oh, nice. Did
Yeah.
I don't remember as a kid, did they release Megaforce toys at all, or were they just concepts and they didn't get
They
past
released Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels? That's right. Yeah.
And then they released a helicopter.
Mhm.
Do you remember the Vertibird? It's that
Yeah.
helicopter on a string that spun around. So they did that, and then they were planning action figures, and the whole thing they were going to use Big Jim action figures as the base, and then redo uniforms and everything. But Barry put the kibosh on that because they weren't going to do an accurate likeness of
Oh,
him. They
yeah.
would just use a generic
Mhm.
GI Joe guy. You remember that letter?
So how did I put a kibosh? I mean, was I going to get any money out of it?
Well, you're going to get money out of it if they used your likeness, and
And they weren't going to, probably, right?
and they weren't going to, right? That's
Yeah.
that. You sent me this little note, and it's from Al writing, and it's just like, why is Bostwick being such an asshole about this? We want to make figures.
Oh man, I would have loved an Ace Hunter action figure, and I'm not just saying that. I think that would have been great.
Did I see a prototype? I must have seen some prototype, right?
Yeah, you saw a prototype. So
I've got. Do you have?
I've got my Ace Hunter action figure right here.
That's the one
the modern version.
That's the modern version.
Cool. Yours is probably better than the one that they showed me. So are you saying that they didn't go ahead and make any of the action figures because I insisted that they use my face?
Yes, that's what the notes seem to say.
But they didn't. But they didn't need my face. Why would I have stopped them if they were just going to make a generic Ace Hunter?
Well, I think it was a overlapping. Your negotiations around that overlapped with the utter box office failure that was Megaforce. So they both just finished the toy line at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's not completely your fault, other than, since I'm the expert, I'm just gonna keep saying it's your fault. And
please, no, I like it. I had power at the time, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I get enough power to make the sequel.
Oh,
that's right.
The sequel, yeah, I would definitely love a sequel, a Megaforce. I think you could do it accurately. I mean, you'd have to do real vehicles if you're going to do a sequel, for sure. None of this CGI stuff. Well, I mean,
there was
a little bit to save some money, a little bit of CGI stuff.
Yeah. There was a script written for Megaforce 2 at the same time as the original Megaforce, which I think I've got the only copy in existence of that. And yeah, it's a great template. It'd be a cool movie. But lots more flying stuff.
Could it be made for a price? I mean, a right price, or is it one of those $100 million things?
Well, if I was making it, I think I could do it for the same amount of money that the first one cost, which was like $12.5 million.
So, and one of the things that I love with the behind the scenes,
if you keep working for free, Barry.
Honor my three picture deal. Then
your three picture deal. There you go. One of the things that I found endearing with the documentary is not only finding the fans, but your friendship between you two gentlemen, seeing that grow on screen. And also, though, I just find the energy of the documentary so positive. We don't have that now. And the way you end this is great as well. Barry, what was it like kind of revisiting your character of Ace Hunter?
Well, I don't think I ever really revisited it because I couldn't fit into the costume. Yeah, but able to get on that motorcycle, I probably felt my life was in danger as much as I didn't the first time. The And when Bob said we're going to go out and do this ending thing, right?
Yeah.
And I probably asked you how much you were going to pay me, and you said nothing.
Always.
I think you did pay for my airline, and then you had some underling pick me up at the airport.
That's right.
There.
And I got you an RV. You had your own RV.
Oh, I did. But
yeah.
But was it a friend of yours RV, or did you actually?
No. I actually had to do that one, but
oh God,
for real.
was this an expensive documentary to make?
It was. Yeah. I mean the end sequence alone was really expensive because I had to feed everybody and house everybody for that 4 or 5 days. And then the one thing you can't, right, the restoration of the vehicles, right, like that takes 4 minutes on screen, but that's like 4 years of restoration work on that dune buggy. So you can't even, right, like in determining a budget, it's like, okay, well, do I actually pay myself hourly for what it took to put those vehicles together? So it's kind of unquantifiable. We've put in the press that it cost $200,000 to make, which, it's probably twice that if you factor in my labor, but
but it's a labor of love, right? I mean,
it's a labor of love,
and you have it now, and you have one now. You have two, actually.
Exactly.
Bob, let me ask you. Your name's Bob, right?
Yes. Today, yeah.
Bob, congratulations on all of the wins that you've had at these festivals, and the where do you stand on Rotten Tomatoes at the moment?
That's a great question. I haven't even looked. I forgot that was a thing. I bet you.
Well,
I've got to be higher than the original Megaforce.
Well, the
which
original
is kind of my only goal.
The original Megaforce actually has risen on Rotten Tomatoes because a number of years ago I was on a podcast and we picked films that were at 0% at Rotten Tomatoes, and unfortunately, Megaforce was one of them. But it's now at 6% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's because of us. That's because of me and you, Barry.
Bob. Wow.
So
we're putting the thumb on the scale there.
You're putting the
well, you're not going to get a Rotten Tomatoes until it's actually released, right?
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, it's not up on Rotten Tomatoes yet. Just Megaforce is at 6%, but not the documentary yet.
Yeah, we'll get at least 7%. So,
I got to tell you, there's been more and more action when I'm on a convention or something about Megaforce. People they're coming out of the woodwork, or if they haven't died already. But the stories, so many of the stories are very similar to yours in terms of how you came to love this movie. Family issues and family dads, and they could share it, but and then it always got down to the vehicles. So many of these kids, they didn't get the good guy bad guy stuff. They got the rockets on the bicycle stuff.
Totally, yeah.
And I don't know where I'm going with this, but
well, I think we're making a difference in the zeitgeist of the world by like the all the social media numbers are like doubling and tripling, right? Like it used to be 38 of us on the Facebook Megaforce group page, and now I don't know, it's at least 60.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm kidding. It's more like 900 now, actually. So
yeah, but when we first started talking, you only had a couple of hundred.
Yeah.
But
so that's pretty cool.
I tell people, at these conventions and things to go online and join the club uh, and do it, and I guess they must do it, and, and I'm so proud of this documentary uh, that and I'm so good in it that I
You
won Best Supporting Actor. In which one was it?
LA Film Invasion. That
L.A.
was our first film festival. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously, my friends. One friend I probably mentioned this to, they said, "Well, who got Best Actor? Uh, if you were just the supporting actor, you should have got Best Actor. You
Yeah.
share it with me."
Well, yeah, it was funny because when they were asking what I wanted them to put on your award that they were gonna send you, we had it's
All
like
That's the smallest damn award I've ever seen in my life. I
I
got it.
wanted to put the only actor in making Megaforce award.
Yeah,
But no, I mean it's good that people are recognizing it, and that's what I'm loving is there's all these rediscoveries of these films, and people are finding it and loving them.
yeah,
In films that I grew up with, that Bob grew up with, that Barry you've been in, people are discovering them and finding a love for them. That there's more to them than just some cheesy '80s film. Like I said, I mean, Megaforce, if you look at it, is a very positive action film
yeah,
through and through. And it's not weighted down too much with too much romanticism. There's some, but it's also handled very well. And yeah, just in general, it's been great to see people talk about Megaforce or some of the other obscure films out there that just I think are really good, are gems that people look away because of the age, right? Because nowadays people are like, oh, I don't want to watch a movie past 2000, older than 2000. I'm like, how can you not?
Right, there hasn't been a good movie made after 2000. So
Well, honest, because I mean, Barry, you've been in many great films, especially the time of Megaforce and that, but there just seemed to be a little bit more earnestness, and maybe I'm wrong, but from a viewer side, in the making of. I mean, you look at Megaforce, you're making actual vehicles. You're actually trying to do something, whereas now it feels like people are making these films kind of ironically. Would you
yeah.
would you would you say that's the case, that there was maybe a little more earnestness to what you guys were making back then?
Simplicity. I mean, certainly simplicity. Earnest. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we all believed in what we were making, and I don't think we were making fun of ourselves while we were making it.
Mhm.
I've made those films too. I don't think if it's over the top, it's not because we were, that we had our tongue planted firmly in our cheeks. I just think it was the genre of bright colors, loud explosions, and you had to sort of keep up with all of that.
Mhm.
Um, and also the dialogue. Well, there wasn't any. We had to make up that dialogue, as Bob, you and I talked about,
yeah.
because it was really, explosion, page of dialogue, page of dialogue, page of dialogue. Who cares? Okay, another explosion, or a
Yeah.
bike, something. Um,
Well, and initially it was going to be a way more serious movie that actually had a body count
Mhm.
and stuff in it, but then when they got Mattel Toys involved and Hal Needham, who's not big on violence, right? He was a real kind of throwback to almost the golden age of Hollywood, or the old you know serials, right? Like Megaforce plays like an old Lone Ranger episode, or a King of
Mhm.
the Rocket Man episode, or Flash Gordon, right? It's just heroic and and neat stuff. And I think that's the earnest, right? Like that was fully intentional,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, and that's one of the things that really resonates with me about Megaforce is everything on screen, you know, was curated, right, with intention. And and yeah, and then it just becomes this beacon of, you know, fun and sweetness and um charm. Like, I don't know if you remember back in the day, like I thought it was one of the greatest cinematic moments of my youth when you realize that Guerrera, Henry Silva's character, where the bad guy and the hero are actually best friends. I just thought, I was like, who wrote this? That is genius. Like, what a cool, yeah. You're like, I still love it, right? Like, and it was done so smoothly. Um, yeah, it's just one of the best
Where do you think that
moments of the
came from?
entire film.
Did that come from the mind of Hal Needham, or I mean, because that's also one of the confusing things about the movie,
It's
right?
true. Yeah.
Who who
Yeah.
who is the bad guy?
It,
Yeah. Well, it's a great, like, yes, it is moderately confused. You know what's interesting is, uh, I don't know if people were confused about the first James Bond movie. They probably weren't because of the books.
Mhm.
But like we pick up with Megaforce like mid-adventure. So there's this past and very similar to like Buckaroo Banzai, right? Like they just keep referencing these things and the characters have a history that you don't get to see.
Yeah.
And you know, and I got all that stuff during, you know, watching Megaforce, and of course I'm too deep in it now. Like, uh, you know, everybody goes, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, no, it makes perfect sense, right? Because Gamibi is right next to Sardoon, and he keeps coming across the border, and yeah, again, that'll be the sequel documentary where Bob explains Megaforce to Barry.
To Barry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very. I like that dynamic between Guerrero and Ace Hunter though. I mean, that friendship,
yeah,
because that's one of those things where at least for me as being a young kid, a young boy, it's like watching your best friend do some really bad decisions, and while you don't agree with it, you still have a bond. So you have that link, that
yeah,
connection. And that I love the scenes between Barry, between you and Henry, because it felt like a friendship. You felt like, yeah, you're like, and it's kind of like there was an episode in Star Trek, if you bear with me, where the Klingons talk about how before a battle it was a civil war, but before they did it, they all congregated at a bar and celebrated each other and joked with each other before they ended up fighting one another. And that's what you have that, spirit here of you
yeah,
two know each other, you've got a history, but at the end of the day, it's like, I'm the good guy, you're the bad guy. We're,
yeah.
we're
Well,
gonna
I
have to
like
fight.
like I always thought of it as right, like Megaforce is every little boy's, you know, playground recess adventure, right? Like your
Yes.
best
Mm-hmm.
buddy, like it's like, okay, I'm on one side and you're on the other side, and we're gonna fight, we're gonna play, nobody's gonna get hurt, girls are not allowed, and we're gonna have this big adventure with our bikes. And like all his Megaforce is like adding 12
Explosions.
million
Yeah.
dollars worth of vehicles to that, right?
Yeah.
Like it really is just like one recess play
Mm-hmm.
pattern for little boys, and you know, taken to this hyper level, which again is, you know, like my goal was to, you know, actually take it to that same hyper level as well in my film. So
And Barry, do you remember discussing, because you mentioned, and you get some insight on how the director of Megaforce actually works, and you're like, wow, how did he get so many people to always work with him? But did you and Henry work out the relationship at all? Since it seemed like the direction was not necessarily there.
I don't remember.
Oh, you
I
don't
mean,
remember?
and some of that relationship in the script, right?
Sure.
Yeah, yeah, for
I mean, the
sure,
whole
for
thing with
sure.
the lighter and all of that, you got my lighter. Yeah, give me the lighter back, or right? I don't remember how that started, but
Mhm.
I'm sure some of the dialogue around the lighter issue was made up on the spot. Um,
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I mean, you and Michael Beck talk about it a lot too, right? Like all your guys' scenes, you guys worked it out on the way
to
on
the,
the way there, right?
Yeah.
And uh yeah, I mean, your relationships with everybody in the movie are just so warm and genuine. You're just such a good actor because I know you don't even know who those guys are anymore.
no, I don't have no idea who they were. I didn't at the time, and I don't know them now. And it's not because I didn't like them, or they. It's probably because that everybody around us, the Megaforce guys, they they had nothing to do but sort of
Mhm.
stand behind us, right? I mean, did
Yeah,
they? I don't remember having a dialogue with any of them other than with Beck.
yeah.
Um, were there any scenes where we sat around and said, "Well, you go here and you go there," and blah blah?
No, not with you. Not with you. I mean, you would talk to the group, but when you guys were in trouble and had to come up with a plan, a Hail Mary plan for the end, but the camera's just on you, and then it's just a wall of Megaforce guys. Yeah, I don't think you talked to any Megaforce personnel other than you talked to George Firth, the
Yeah,
scientist, but he wasn't a real Megaforce guy. I don't think you talked to any of the foot soldiers individually. I think you only had scenes with Dallas or Michael Beck, as other people know him.
I just remember coming into the plane at the end with that big cheesy "Hey, I did it," and then everybody around me was yelling and screaming and celebrating with me. But not one of them said congratulations, and I say, "Hey, Billy, you're right." None of that crap, right?
None of that. Yeah.
No, it's uh,
We'll figure that out in the sequel. We'll get you
You
some
figure that
more,
out in the sequel. You cover that in the sequel.
get you some acting moments in the sequel. What was your? Do you remember the first time you saw it in the theater, Mark?
Uh, I mean, when I was a kid, my parents took me. I think it was to a matinee. My dad took me to see it. I don't remember too much about it, but I do remember watching it frequently whenever it was on cable or we
Yeah,
rented it a couple of times because you've got that wonderful poster, that wonderful artwork for it. That
yeah.
just that's one of those where you walk past it on the video shelf and you're like, ooh, the name Megaforce, and then you get that wonderful poster and the deed's not where you just look at that, you're like, I want to watch
yeah.
this.
Who did the original poster, Bob? The was it the yellow one? The D.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's with you and it's a very James Bond poster.
Mhm.
It's funny because I was gonna like I just a month ago located the original artwork for that movie poster
Really?
and bought it.
You bought it?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing. And the guy's name is on it. I should really know being fan fan number one, but I'm
Ain't
terrible with names. But
that crap.
what?
How did you find that?
A Megaforce guy was like, "Oh my god, did you see that this is for sale?" Like, so I never would have seen it if it weren't for you know one of the Megaforce fans looking out for me. I mean, that was the same with getting this motorcycle too, right? Yeah, just one of the fan group was like, "Hey, I know this guy's selling a Megaforce motorcycle, and he hooked us up." So, that's what's really great about y- you know, obviously the original film, my film, and the fans of the film were all of a certain ilk where yeah, we just help each other out and our little corner of the internet is always really positive, no matter where you are, right? And I mean, Mark, your review, right? I mean, obviously you nailed it, so you kind of get the spirit that I'm talking about. You know, Megaforce is kind of a secret handshake of kind of how you move through life, or at least want to, like guys who can remember what it's like to be a kid and be silly and have friends and not so stoic or whatever all the time. So, and of course, all the normies out there think we're ridiculous, but
Yeah.
I prefer to live in this world of positivity, especially
Especially,
these days,
yeah.
right?
Especially these days, we need Ace Hunter back. That's what we need for ourselves.
That's
So,
right.
well, thank you both very much. This has been a joy to meeting both of you, Bob and Barry. Both of you. Just I have this passion. I found the soundtrack. I thought it was going to be a vinyl, but it ended up being a CD release of the
Yeah.
soundtrack. So I was very happy about that because I love the music. I love movie music in it. And just seeing this come together, this documentary, seeing your friendship grow over the, course of the documentary, but seeing people talk about it. And I think one of the great things about it was when you'd approach people, they go, "Why do you want to talk about this film?" And then they start remembering it, and I swear they're smiling. The stunt guys and everything, they're like, "Yeah, we had to hide behind this, and there was fire." But they're not talking about it like, "Oh, we had to do." They seem to have this actual like energy when they start remembering
I think it
making
was a
this
great
film.
adventure for all those guys, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was so huge. It was so huge.
And
So,
also, at the end of every day, as you know, Bob, he would show the dailies at the where we're at the casino
The
and
hacienda.
put out a full liquor and food. So we never had to use our per diems for anything like that. He shared this whole thing with the crew and the cast, and he just created this big family,
Yeah.
and I think that's what some of those stunt guys and people were talking about too, right?
Hmm. Yeah. 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 They worked hard, but they also played hard, and
Yeah,
all those guys, because of Hal Needham's reputation, right? Like they would follow him to the ends of the earth and do
yeah.
just these insane things, because they kind of love the guy.
I
So
talked to some stunt guys since then who said, "Oh man, I wish I could have done that movie, but I just wasn't picked." Yeah, they didn't job because there was 10 guys either older or more experienced than them. I
yeah.
one of those things that a stunt guy does, like actors do. I should have gotten the coach this or whatever. uh, and I think they all regret not being on Megaforce uh,
Right.
because of I think what it meant at the time. It meant that you were in the top echelon. You
Right, you made it basically,
had
yeah.
made it. Yeah.
Is there a movie you regret not getting, Barry?
A movie I regret not getting.
Or a role?
Uh, uh, maybe Cheers.
oh,
Oh,
Ted Danson's role in Cheers, because I was making a transition from theater to television, the television, and my manager said, "Well, you don't want to go up for this part. No, it's just a TV series. You don't want to do a TV series." And so, I mean, I didn't even audition for it. I was turning down. Little did I know, I was turning down things that nobody would even pass it on to me.
but then you said yes to Young Guy Christian.
Yeah. Well, and then I found out later from Hal Prince that I turned down. What was that big musical about the South American dictator? Evita.
Avita.
I apparently
Oh,
turned down Evita, and and it made a big star out of what's his name?
yeah.
What's his name? The guy, big what's his name?
He's in a lot of movies, actually. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, no, he's what's his name? But no, I turned down the Che part,
Mhm.
and but I didn't know that I had. But that's what happens, you just don't know. People hide things from you, and they ask for too much money, but they don't say to you, "Would you do it for this or that?"
Well,
It's
that was hard. Me trying to get in touch with you was that right? Like whatever firewall you had at the time, like I couldn't get through to you back in the
really,
day. Yeah,
huh?
yeah,
Well,
yeah. I did.
you found me, and
You know?
thank God you've become one of my best friends.
Yeah,
And
right back at you, man. Holy cow.
we've made history.
We've made a movie.
You
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often, believe me, as you know.
it it's always impressive when I see anyone make a movie. I've been covering this long enough and involved in independent filmmaking alone, and it's like any accomplishment, even if it's not a really great movie, the fact you accomplish a movie, you get it out in front of eyes, and you get people is an impressive endeavor.
Yeah,
And the impressive endeavor, I think, as well as making Megaforce. It's got so many layers to it with this documentary. It's still fun, and it's great seeing people share a love of something, like
Yeah,
honestly share and put forth effort, like you said, look out for one another and genuinely respect something, not with tongue in cheek, not ironically, not oh ha 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 or whatever. Like
yeah.
genuinely enjoy stuff like this. I think is great to see because we
Can I?
see.
yeah. Being
But
like
can I leave?
unapologetic about
But
what you love, and
Yeah,
go ahead.
no, you go ahead, Barry. You're gonna say something more interesting than me always.
No, I never do. But I'd like to. I mean, I'd like to leave this conversation with me quoting one line from the movie,
absolutely.
and then I'm gonna hang up.
Okay.
Ready? The good guys always win, even in the '80s.